Hi, and welcome along to AFTV. We are here in Portugal, more specifically in Porto at the Stadio de Dragão, which is the home of Porto, who we are going to be playing in the Champions League, our first leg tie against them in the round of 16 games. A little bit dark here today. You can see the stadium in the background. We were supposed to have been here probably about an hour and a half ago in the daylight, but somebody decided to put into the sat-nav the club FC shop. Porto's store, which happens to be right in the middle of the town, which took us way off track. And then by the time we managed to negotiate all the traffic and got here, it was dark. So sorry that you can't see the stadium in all its glory, but we are here, Julian. You good?
It was an unfortunate mistake.
Another one. Right, but we are here. Listen, we're looking forward to the game. Even when we was driving through the city, saw quite a few Arsenal fans mingling around, walking around. It's exciting. Arsenal back in the Champions League knockout stages. One of only two English clubs there, along with Manchester City. And this game, Lee, is absolutely massive. First leg. We haven't done this for a long time. No. These teams are very experienced teams, teams like Porto. I know when it came out of the hat, a lot of people were saying, all right, not too bad. That's a favourable draw. But they came out of a tough group with Barcelona winning it. They came runners up. They beat Shakhtar. They had Antwerp in their group as well. And this will be a tough test tomorrow.
Yeah, I've got to say, since I've got to the stadium, I had a little look around, very impressed by the stadium, and I'm now buzzing for it, I've got to say. Barcelona, they only just beat them 1-0 here, and of course 2-1 in the new camp. So I do envisage it going to be a tough game. But looking forward to it. I'm going to say, I'm confident. I'm going to say it now. I'm confident we can get the job done. I don't think we're going to get a 3 or 4-0 win as much as we love it, but any sort of result I'll be happy with. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to the game. And the stadium's very, very impressive.
Just on that, Julian said 3 or 4-0. I'm gonna give you like a little game. You always like games. Yeah. We beat Porto at our place. It was 5-0 the last time we played them. Do you remember who got the hat trick in that game?
Nicholas Bentner.
Oh, them notes are coming in handy.
I mean, he has been doing research all the way up here.
Yeah, and we actually lost 2-1 here in the first leg.
That's right.
And I think Aboué scored one of the other goals.
Okay, so how are you feeling for this game? Confident?
Oh, I'm feeling really confident because
this is like Turf Moor, Stadio Turf Moor. You said this is.
I didn't say it was like the stadium's really impressive, and the thing that I'm most impressed about so far is that I can't see the cage, which is good. So hopefully we're going to have a good view. As regards their Champions League performance in the group stages, yes, it was very impressive, but it was a few months ago. And since then, their form has really fallen off. And I think we're catching them at a very good time. If you look at some of their results in the last month, compared with what they were doing earlier on in the season, they've been drawing with a team called Rio Avenue. They've lost 3-2 against a 10-man Aruca, who are teams that really are, they have no pedigree whatsoever. So on that basis, combined with also the kind of form that Arsenal are in at the moment, I do think we're going to win quite handsomely.
But don't we have to be very careful here, Lee? Because that's the thing, like we're all coming here, rightly confident. We've been scoring goals since we've come back from that break in Dubai, impressive away performances as well. It's not just our home performances. Away, 5-0 last week against Burnley, the week before 6-0 against West Ham. But don't we need to just take a pause? This is the Champions League. The quality is better. The players are better. And these teams are very experienced teams with a lot of European pedigree that you can't just come here and go gun-ho thinking it's going to be a Burnley.
No, exactly right. And I think that you have to respect that the credibility of what they've got playing in Europe. And I think, it's a different game. I know like you say about league games and things like that, it's a different competition now, over 2 legs. They're fancying themselves here because they're at home and everything like that. And we will as well, So, listen, Barcelona won the Champions League a couple of seasons ago. I remember someone saying to me they're not playing well, but Real Madrid know what to do in Europe, and these teams will know what they've got to do in Europe. They're actually a little bit more experienced than us.
Yeah.
This is like
a lot more experience.
They've got 2 Champions League titles.
They've got also they're used to playing in it. This is our first 2-legged tie in the Champions League for a lot of our players, apart from the ex-Chelsea boys. And of course, last season we failed in Portugal, in the Europa League after
Sporting.
The Sporting with a credible 2-2 draw. We didn't get the job done. So I don't think we should be taking these teams lightly. And I honestly don't think that we are. And I don't think, more importantly, that the manager and the players will be. But I think if we can put in a good performance, look, conditions that we're at here now are perfect for football. You know, I'm going to say that now. It's not as cold as it is back home. So I think let's come here, let's enjoy it, and let's hopefully get the result.
They're talking about respect. You see me, I'm with you though, June, I'll be honest. With the form that Arsenal are in currently, and the fact that if we look at Arsenal in the Champions League so far this season, they have been good. They've been firing, been free-flowing when it comes to scoring goals. We want to see more of that. Recently in the Premier League, we've been free-flowing as well. I'll make you right to be confident for this game, and hopefully that form does continue. Don't want to disrespect Porto too much, but we have all the right to have belief for this game and be confident.
Absolutely. And the other thing I think we need to kind of appreciate is that these teams that we're playing in the Champions League, they're not used to playing the quality of opposition that we are. I mean, the teams that we've struggled against this season are teams that are playing a very low block. And these kind of teams that we're playing, I mean, one thing about Porto is that it's one of the top three, undoubtedly one of the top three teams in Portugal. Even though they've had some bad results over the last few weeks, they are used to playing teams that they are better than. They've got a very high press. The way they play is attacking. And I think that's why when you look at the Champions League, not just the Arsenal games, that there's been some very high scoring games within that. I mean, you look at some of our results, 4-0 against PSV.
Yep.
PSV still haven't lost in the Dutch league this season, and we've gone and spanked them 4-0 because these teams just seriously aren't used to playing the quality of opposition that we are. Teams in the Premier League coming up against us, they know what's coming. They are very much used to playing defensively in this low block.
Porto may have looked at our recent results, so may have a bit more, have a bit more knowledge on us though. I don't think they'll sit back here. They're at home, first leg, but I'll make you right.
Yeah, I think they might know what's coming, but they're not practiced, well rehearsed in playing that kind of football. Whereas some of the teams in the Premier League, right from pre-season, they're setting up to defend because that's the only way they know they're going to survive.
Very interesting, Lee. It's going to be to see what the team selection is for this match. It's great to see pictures emerging of training with Thomas Partey training. That's really interesting. Could he? I don't expect him to start, but could he make some sort of impact or come off the bench, maybe, possibly in the game? Fabio Vieira, of course, who used to play here, ex-Porto player. I remember the last time I was in Porto in September, I was speaking to a taxi driver who said when he was there, he was an absolutely brilliant player. He might, he's back in training. He may relish, trying to get involved in this game. But what sort of team do you expect for that game tomorrow? I mean, I'm looking at it and I'm saying the midfield area, do we bring back Jorginho into that midfield just to give it a little bit more solidity? If, as Julian said, they're a team that, are going to want to press us. We've seen Jorginho when we played against Liverpool with him and Rice in there. He was very impressive.
Yeah, I think that's a great question. For me, I think Jorginho should come in, but the difficult one for me is who's going to leave out. It's either got to be Havertz or Trossard, and both have been fantastic in the last couple of games.
Or do you stick with the team that's been getting us the result? 5-0, 6-0, do you just go with that?
That's the other case scenario. But I'm looking at it and I think we haven't got the experience in the Champions League. Jorginho has, and of course Havertz have, because they've won the competition. So I think for this game I'd put them in, and also don't forget it's only a couple of days.
Who would you take out?
I'm going to be honest about it. I would leave Trossard out of this game.
Wow.
And but then my first question for you, Trossard, you're playing definitely on Saturday. I just think that maybe just that little bit of experience we need. But if he goes for the same team as he has done in the last couple of games, I've got no problems with it whatsoever. But I just think that he may look at it and just go, look, we need a little bit of experience in this one.
It's funny, this side, I think we agree with each other. I disagree. I don't think you should go with Jorginho. I think you don't fix what's been working, and I feel like we put Jorginho against Liverpool. That made sense to me. I think the Liverpool team, you need a bit more control in there. I think for this game, we carry on playing as we've been playing before, and we get it done with the team we've been seeing of recent. What about you, Julian?
No, I agree with Lee on this one.
Oh, okay.
And there's a different reason, in as much as we're playing 3 games in a week. We've got Newcastle now on Saturday, which I think is slightly unfair. I think that game should have been played on the Sunday, but
Well, it's at 8 o'clock.
yeah,
So
okay, but it's still Saturday. But I think we've got to respect the fact that Newcastle, as well as a big game, we've got a squad, we've got a decent squad, and Jorginho's a very good player. And I think if we are going to bring him in for this game.
Yeah, I mean, listen, personally, I think I'd have Jorginho in this game. I know a lot of people look at it and say, well, why change a team that's been winning? But I just think that, European football is a bit different to the Premier League. You want to get a bit of control going on in that midfield in particular. And I just think him, Declan Rice, and then also Odegaard. Because remember, this is one thing we've got to remember in these games. I'm sure you may agree with this, Lee. We don't necessarily have to win this game. It's 2 legs. It would be great to win it, but if you leave here tomorrow and it's a draw, you're not crying, are you?
No, that's exactly it. It's not the end of the world. Listen, if you said to me now, look, we're going to draw this 1-1, I wouldn't be going, I'm too disappointed about it, because it's not about. It's the bigger picture is getting through to the next round. I get that you want the momentum keep going as well. That's another important thing. I agree with Julian as well. I don't think you should go too much emphasis on the Newcastle game because it's a couple of days away. Because after that you've got 7 days rest and all that. So, but I do think that maybe just tinkering with a little bit ain't a bad thing. Because if you've got a squad, use it. Yeah. And the reason we've got a big squad is because it's Champions League and Premier League. So okay. I do think
does it not make sense though to start fast and start with a team that's been winning and scoring goals, then maybe bring on Jorginho to see out the game?
Yes, listen, this is where Mikel earns his money, isn't it? Because this is where he has to make those decisions. I'm pretty sure all the questions that we're throwing at each other is what they're talking about as well. And at the end of it, they're going to make the decision, and whatever it is, I don't think there's a wrong one or there's a right one. At the end of it, they will make the decisions. Obviously, I think whatever team that they play, we should get a result here.
Okay, let me just quickly. So then, let's just quickly just sort of construct that team. So obviously, I guess we all agree Raya's in goal now, and he's been doing all right in the last few games. Ben White right back, centre back pairing. It speaks for itself. We know it's going to be Saliba, Gabriel, unless there's injury. Left back, we stay with Kivior. I mean, it looks like Tomiyasu hasn't been in training. Doesn't look like Zinchenko's back according to the rumours, so Kivior I guess there. And then what are we going midfield? So we are agreeing in midfield 3 against 1. We're going with Jorginho.
Oh, is it only minute? Yeah.
Because well, you would have went with the same midfield as him, but Jorginho, Rice, Odegaard, and then our front 3, Saka, Martinelli. And who's down the middle? So you're both saying Havertz.
Well, it depends on the injury situation. We haven't had an update on Jesus. We're assuming he's not playing, but Mikel could be keeping that one up his sleeve.
But the other one is I might be just looking a little bit into this. Is that Trossard come off? Martinelli stayed on. Saka come off. So maybe he's thinking Trossard, Saka. And I think Havertz would be the one up top, So it could be that Martinelli played the full 90 minutes. We're keeping fresh for Saturday. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know. I'm just trying to look into it. For me, away from home, I think on the counter attack, Martinelli and Saka.
You want Martinelli getting at Pepe and
Yes, of course I do. I do, and I think that against Newcastle, maybe Martinelli wouldn't be so vital because we're there drop a lot deeper, and so it might be intricate stuff for Trossard and things like that. So it'd be really interesting to see the team tomorrow because I'm going to be really honest. I haven't got a clue what he's going to do. I would suspect though that Havertz will play, whether it be up front or in the midfield, because he's got that Champions League experience.
Okay, well listen, let's get a quick prediction from you guys of what you think the result's going to be.
Has it changed from the airport? Go.
No, 3-0 or 0-3.
I've gone 2-0. I feel like Porto are in crisis though. I'm going to stick with that. I haven't got Taremi. Yeah, 2-0 still. 2-0 for me still.
Yeah, I'm confident. I'm confident.
I'm confident.
I am confident because the team at this moment, since the break, since they're coming back from Dubai, I've seen a different Arsenal. It's enthusiastic on the eye. I've got to say that. I've really enjoyed watching the Arsenal the last few games, and I don't think that Porto are a Liverpool or an
agreed.
Aston Villa or someone like that, I would say that they're probably like mid-table in the Premier League. And if it was a mid-team team in the Premier League, you'd expect Arsenal to come and win.
Okay, I think I'll go 2-1, even though 2-1 to us, of course. But even though Porto have been struggling a bit, it's still a team with a lot of European pedigree. We're still away from home. It's a big stadium. It's going to be a lot of noise in there tomorrow, and they're going to be trying to drive their team on. But I do think if Arsenal play to how we've been seeing them playing recently, they'll get the job done, and then we get them back to our place and complete that work. But it's a big game for Arsenal, this one.
Massive.
Big game. It's going to be a lot different to playing West Ham and to playing Burnley. I'm also going to have to be right on it, but I do fancy Arsenal to get the job done. Don't forget to check out all of our great content around this game. The guys are going to be there in the studio on the day, of course, doing the starting 11. So if you're really interested as we are as to what that starting 11 is going to be, make sure you check that out. And of course, they've got the big watch along coming up after that. Then they got the full-time show. Of course, we are out here in Portugal, right here in Porto. We're going to be speaking to fans after the game to get their opinions on how it's gone. We're going to be doing vlogs throughout the day. Check out all the videos that we've done so far. But we're here in Porto, looking forward to this one. The stadium's behind us. There's little people milling around, walking around. A little bit of buzz is starting to start off. This is it. Champions League music flowing. It's Arsenal visiting Porto in the round of 16 in the Champions League. This is big.